After 6 months of silence, the waves no longer roared with the same fury. The storm that had swallowed Nabalin seemed like a distant dream, yet Sagor often woke up at night hearing whispers from the sea. He had moved to a quiet town by the coast, trying to forget the island, but the island had not forgotten him. One morning, he found glowing marks on his wrist, the same ancient symbols carved into Nabalin's temple walls. When he touched them, they shimmered like blue fire and pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. Then, faintly, a voice spoke inside his mind, "Child of the sea, we are not gone." He tried to tell Dr. Mahira, but she already knew something was happening. She had secretly kept a drop of the glowing blue liquid that once rested inside the sacred chest. Under the microscope, the drop seemed alive, forming shapes, reacting to sound, almost breathing. "It's not just energy," she told him. "It's a living organism. It's inside you now." Sagar's pulse raced. What does it want? Mahira looked at him, her face pale. To return home. That night, the ocean turned electric blue. Fishermen fled as the tide began to rise unnaturally fast. Sagor stood on the beach, drawn toward the waves. The wind howled but the sea grew calm around him. The voice grew louder. "The blood calls you. The island lives through you." A column of light rose from the sea, swirling around him, lifting him off the ground. When it faded, a golden disc lay at his feet, engraved with the serpent symbol, the mark of Nabalin. Days later, an encrypted message reached Dr. Mahira's lab. It contained only coordinates and a single line: "The island is rising again. We must stop it, Colonel Farrick." They thought he had died, but if he was alive, it meant the island was too. Sagor clenched the disc in his hand. "It's calling me back." Months passed, and a new expedition began. Mahira led the mission aboard a research vessel, Aurora. The sonar readings grew erratic as they neared the old coordinates. Something immense was moving beneath the surface. When the fog cleared, ancient stone towers emerged from the ocean. Nabalin was rising again. They found Colonel Farrick waiting near the cliffs, older but alive. "The island never died," he said. "It slept, waiting for the bloodline to awaken. You, Sagor, are its key." He pointed to the golden disc. "That is the seal of Nabalin. It can awaken the heart, or destroy it." Sagor felt the marks on his wrist burn brighter. "What if I choose wrong?" Farrick's eyes were grave. "Then the world will drown as Nabalin once did." Inside the heart temple, they found a living crystal, pulsing like a heart. The voice returned, echoing through the chamber. "Restore the balance. Choose life or ruin." Sagor stepped forward. He raised the golden disc. His body glowed with the same energy that once flowed beneath the island. "I didn't ask for this," he whispered, "but maybe it chose me." He pressed the disc into the crystal. A blinding surge of light exploded outward. The ground shattered, the ocean roared, and then, silence. When Dr. Mahira opened her eyes, the island was gone. Only calm waves remained. Weeks passed. Every night, she dreamed of Sagor, standing on the water, surrounded by blue light. Then, one evening at sunset, as she stood by the sea, she saw a figure walking across the horizon. It was him. He smiled softly, his voice carried by the wind. "The island sleeps again, but its spirit lives on." Before she could speak, his body dissolved into radiant blue light and vanished into the sea. The waves shimmered for a long time afterward, as if whispering his name. Years went by. Sailors sometimes claimed they saw a glowing island beneath the moonlit water, and a blue figure standing guard above it, protecting the world from the depths below. They say he is still there, the last guardian of Nabalin. Watching, waiting, until the sea calls again. The world had changed. 10 years passed since Dr. Mahira's final book. The ocean grew stranger, its tides moving in ways no scientist could explain. Ships that sailed too far into the Pacific vanished without a trace, and fishermen spoke of glowing lights under the water, lights that moved like living creatures. Rumors spread of a guardian spirit, protecting a lost kingdom beneath the sea. Some said it was a ghost, others said it was a new life form. But deep down, in her quiet home near the coast, Mahira knew the truth. She was old now, her hair silver, but her eyes still held the light of Nabalin. One night, as she stood by the shore, the ocean began to glow once more. Waves rose higher, forming a circular pattern that spread across the horizon. Then came a low hum, the same ancient sound that once echoed through the heart temple. From the center of the sea, a figure rose. It was him, Sagor. But he was no longer the man she had known. His body shimmered with liquid light, his eyes like twin stars. Around him floated fragments of the golden temple, rebuilt by the sea itself. Greater than Mahira, his voice whispered through the wind. "The balance is breaking. Something is coming." Before she could speak, the sea around him churned violently. Dark shapes moved beneath the waves, massive, serpentine creatures made of shadow and stone. They were the keepers of the deep, ancient guardians that had once served Nabalon but now awakened in rage, confused by centuries of silence. The ocean roared as they broke the surface, three colossal beings with glowing red eyes. The skies turned black, lightning slashed across the horizon, and the world trembled. Sagor lifted his hand. A circle of blue energy spread around him, pushing back the storm. Greater than, go back to sleep, he commanded, his voice calm but filled with power. But the creatures did not listen. They attacked, crashing through the water like mountains come alive. The sea erupted in chaos. Sagor fought them with blinding light, every movement shaking the waves. The ocean glowed blue and red, clashing like fire and lightning. Mahira watched from the shore, powerless, tears streaming down her face. Greater than, please, Sagor. Don't do this alone, she cried. He turned to her one last time. Greater than, this is my destiny. I was born from the island, and I will die with it. Then, with one final cry, he raised both hands toward the sky. A column of pure light shot upward, piercing the clouds. The creatures screamed and dissolved into mist, their red eyes fading into the darkness. The ocean began to calm, glowing softly like starlight. As the light faded, Mahira saw Sagar's form begin to disappear. He smiled at her, the same warm smile she remembered from years ago. Greater than, the sea will always remember you, he said gently. Goodbye, my friend. And then he was gone. The waves fell silent once more. When the storm cleared, a new island stood where the ocean had glowed, small, green, and peaceful. No one could explain how it appeared overnight, but the locals called it Isla Mahira. Dr. Mahira passed away soon after, her face serene, as if she had simply gone home. Her diary was found by a young explorer who read her final words. Greater than, he did not vanish. He became the sea itself. Years later, travelers sometimes saw a blue light beneath the water near Isla Mahira. Those who looked closely swore they saw a figure watching over the deep, calm, eternal, unbroken. They called him the Blue Guardian, protector of the ocean, keeper of the lost island of Nabalon. And in the silence of the sea, his voice could still be heard, a whisper in the waves.